Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we'll be replacing the tie rod in this 98 Explorer, same as any 95 to 01 Explorer, Navajo, and Ranger, Mazda B-Series pickup. And really, this is a procedure is similar for most cars. Tools you'll need on an Explorer: jack and jack stands, 8, 13, 15, 19, which I forgot there, 21mm sockets and ratchet, pliers, a tie rod puller, which is the right way to do it. You can use a hammer, but you have to be careful. Loctite, a red or black marker, and 2 large adjustable wrenches.
Okay, so obviously you're going to want to jack up and secure your vehicle. You can just work a screwdriver in there and pry off your cap. And these are 19mm. If you don't have impact tools, loosen your lug nuts on the ground, then raise your vehicle and secure it with a jack stand, and then remove the lug nuts. And once the lug nuts are off, just pull the tie right off. And there's 4 bolts, okay, that basically hold the brakes on. There's one here, 13mm, and one up here, okay. And those just hold the calipers to this big bracket. There's also a 15mm bolt here, okay, and a 15mm bolt right up here.
Okay, so we're just going to speed through removing those 4 bolts, and you pull the caliper up and off, and you can wire tie it up top, and then that bracket comes off with the 15mm bolts, and we'll pick it up from there.
Okay, this bracket then comes right off, and your rotor comes right off. Okay, you're going to want to take off this dust shield, and it's 8mm bolts. Remove this cotter pin with a pair of pliers. Needle nose usually works best, but usually the best thing to do is just grab hold and break off the pin on this side. Good enough. Pull it out. It's a 21mm bolt. And actually, if you give it a good tug, it does come easy. Okay. We'll put our puller on there. Now you could just use a big hammer and pound this through, but what you want to be very careful to do, if you go that route, you don't want to mushroom the end of this, and then it actually won't go through your steering knuckle. So really this is using the tie rod ball joint puller is the best way. And you'll end up tightening this up good, and pretty soon it'll pop. There it goes. A couple of big adjustable wrenches here.
Okay, and I'll fast forward a little here as I kind of mess with it, try and get the best angle to both get a good pull on the wrenches and still be able to see it with the camera. So.
Okay, so that's off. So now we'll lock this one onto here. Okay, the new tie rod does come with a new nut here. So what I'm going to do is mark really well where this nut was, so that when I put the new one on, I know to go right up to where I put the red marks. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit of Loctite on here. Put some down here. New nut on. And you can tell pretty well where it was. What you want to take into account is if either this nut or the length of your new tie rod is any different, you want to adjust the position of this nut. So if your tie rod was a little shorter, you adjust it out a little bit, or if the tie rod was a little longer than your original, adjust it back in. Okay, so that's about where, that's where my old one was. So now put the new tie rod on. And you want to make sure you hold this. You don't want this twisting, because that is adjustment as well. And if you do this, this should give you a pretty good initial alignment. I recommend you go get an alignment so you don't wear out your tires too quickly or end up wearing out the new tie rod or wearing out your ball joints or anything like that if your car is not aligned correctly. Okay. Start my bolt down here. Hold this in place. And now I want to tighten my lock nut up here. Really good. Okay, so I'm going to now tighten up this nut to about 75 foot-pounds. Okay, and tighten it up a little more to get that. So I can get my cotter pin right through there. Okay. Cotter pin, and then I can just take it and bend it right around. And last but not least, put in our grease fitting. Our pliers to tighten that up. Okay, it comes pre-greased, but you can fill it up with grease, and then we put everything back together.
Okay, and we'll kind of fast forward, putting that brake shield back up and tightening up those 3 8mm bolts. Okay, and we'll also fly through putting the brakes back together and your wheel back on. A couple of notes. Again, you probably would want to get a alignment after you've done any steering or suspension work like this. And then also, just the first time you drive your car, just be very careful. You've worked on the brakes, you've worked on the steering, so make sure your car is stopping before you go fast, and make sure that there's no looseness or anything in the steering before you road test it. If you do want to see putting your brakes back together in regular motion, just check out our front brake video. Put the wheel back on, put your lug nuts on, get them snug, then lower the car to the ground, torque them up to 90 to 100 foot-pounds, replace your cap, and you're in business. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.